Most Venerable Praprom Vajirodom, Regional Governor of the Sangha, Most Venerable Pratep Varachan, Provincial Governor of the Sangha, His Excellency Supasat Kocharon Yot, Governor of Ubon Ratchathani Province, Professor Dr. Chutinan Prasit Puri Precha, President of Ubon Ratchathani University, Khun Sarit Vitun, former Governor of Ubon Ratchathani Province, Mr. Somchat Pongpar Panagrai, President of the Regional Chamber of Commerce, Most Venerable Pra Methi Borayan, Chairman of the Committee of Bodhigaya Vijayalaya Institute, Dr. Supachai Verapuchong, Secretary General of the Bodhigaya Vijayalaya Institute, Venerable monks, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Namaskar and Swadikap. I thank you for having invited me for this conference on Dhamma Vijaya to Dhamma Century, lighting the Dhamma candle in Ubon Ratchathani, the world meditation city. I am humbled that I have been asked to address this august and learned gathering, for which I find myself totally unworthy. Let me apologize for not being there in person with you today due to a prior commitment given many months ago to the National Defence College here in Bangkok. Otherwise, nothing would have given me a greater pleasure than being with you in person, especially in view of the noble topic of this conference. Ubon Ratchathani is a province that I have visited several times, and it's very close to my heart. My country, India, and Ubon Ratchathani has many linkages dating back to at least 1,500 years. The word Ubon has its origins in Uppala in Pali and Utpal in Sanskrit. All of these words mean lotus. Your city and province are named after lotus flower. India's national flower is also lotus. In Ubon Ratchathani National Museum, I have seen a rock inscription in Sanskrit language and written in Pallava script, a script named after the Pallava dynasty in southern India. It was found in Pumanai cave in Kengtana National Park in Sirindhorn district in the Ubon Ratchathani province. The rock inscription dates back to the 7th century AD and mentions a prince Chitrasena, also known as Sri Mahendra Varmana, who gave permission to build a Shiva Linga as a monument to his victory. This shows that India and this region were using a common language even 1500 years ago. I take this opportunity to congratulate my very dear friend Dr. Supachai for his devotion and unwavering belief in Lord Buddha and his teachings. I had the pleasure and privilege of working with him on the Ganga Mekong Holy Relics Dhamma Yatra, which took place in Thailand in February-March this year. More than 4 million devotees had the privilege of paying their respects to the holy relics of Lord Buddha and his two chief disciples, Arhant Sariputta and Arhant Mahamoggallana. Dr. Supachai has now embarked on his next goal of Dhamma Vijaya to the century of Dhamma in order to make our world a better place, which is peaceful, free of conflict, poverty, hunger, disease, and homelessness. Given Dr. Supachai's determination and capacity to work hard, I am confident that he will not stop till he achieves Dhamma Vijaya or victory of the Dhamma. Distinguished guests, in India, His Majesty King Mahavajiralongkorn is considered as the shining symbol of the great Thai nation. We deeply admire and respect His Majesty and his benevolent rule. On the auspicious occasion of the 6th cycle of the 72nd birth year of His Majesty, I, on behalf of the people and the Government of India, and on my own behalf, extend our most respectful and heartfelt greetings and best wishes to His Majesty for a very long, healthy, and happy life. Distinguished guests, Buddhism, which originated in India, carries the eternal message of Lord Buddha and is followed by hundreds of millions around the world, including in Thailand and in India. It is perhaps the strongest bond between our two countries and our two peoples. The life of Lord Buddha illustrates the power of service, compassion, and most importantly, renunciation. He was born into privilege, yet he developed a distinct consciousness about human suffering, about illness, about old age and death. He was convinced that material wealth is not the sole goal. Human conflicts repulsed him. And then he set out on the path to create a peaceful and compassionate society through his divine teachings. He taught us the eternal truth that called upon us to break free from practices and systems seen as cruel, regressive, and unjust, and move towards love, compassion, and peaceful coexistence. Lord Buddha was a revolutionary. He nurtured a faith where human being is at the core. He preached that the innermost being of a man manifests godliness. In a way, he created a faith where divinity is not about looking anywhere outside, but about looking within. In 3 words, Appa Deepo Bhava, or be your own light, Gautam Buddha gave humanity the greatest management lesson. Nothing pained him more than mindless conflict that caused human suffering. Non-violence was integral to his worldview. The message and teachings of Lord Buddha resonate loudly and clearly with the major challenges of our times. Today, on one hand, countries and peoples are at war, while on the other hand, the world is also going through economic instability and distress. Threats like terrorism and religious fanaticism are attacking the soul of humanity. Climate change is looming large over the existence of the entire humanity. Glaciers are melting, ecology is being destroyed, and species are becoming extinct. But in the midst of all this, there are millions of people like us who have faith in Buddha, who believe in the welfare of all living beings. This hope, this faith is the biggest strength of our planet. When this hope gets united, Buddha's Dhamma will become the world's belief, and Buddha's realization will become the belief of humanity. We have to remember that the journey from problems to solutions is the actual journey of Lord Buddha. The Lord did not leave the palace and his royal existence because he had any problems. Buddha left the palace, gave up the royal luxury because he felt that he had all the comforts available to him, whereas there was misery in the lives of others. There is no problem in the modern world whose solution we cannot find in the teachings of the Buddha. Where there is Buddha's compassion, there is coordination, not conflict. There is peace, not discord. The path of the Buddha is the path of the future, the path of sustainability. Had the world followed the teachings of the Buddha, we would not even have faced a crisis like climate change. The crisis developed because some nations stopped caring about others, about the future generations in the last century. In India, more than 2000 years ago, Emperor Ashoka the Great, after having conquered most of Jambudvipa, as India was then known, through wars that led to killing of thousands of people, renounced violence and converted to Buddhism. Then onwards, he aimed at achieving Dhamma Vijaya rather than Digvijaya, which means conquest of the world. He replaced the sound of war drums, which he called Bheri Ghosha, by the sounds of peace, Dhamma Ghosha. The path Ashoka followed as a follower of the Shakyamuni is relevant even today and shows us the direction for our own conduct. Until the end of his long reign in 232 BC, Ashoka remained devoted to explaining and propagating the Dhamma. His rock and pillar inscriptions, which are found all over the country in India, are a rich source of information on his ideas about the relationship between political power, goodness, and non-violence. According to Ashoka the Great, Dhamma includes what is good, sadhu, because one should practice goodness. Dhamma also has a sense of duty. The reason why one should be good has to do with the idea of karma or kamma in Pali. Goodness yields merit, punya, and beneficial fruits in the next life and can lead to heaven, swarga. The specific virtues that are part of Dhamma include self-control, purity of thought, generosity, gratitude, firm devotion, truthfulness, and purity. The conduct towards all living beings should be marked by compassion, gentleness, and abstention from injuring and killing. The theme of ahimsa or non-violence is an important aspect of Ashoka's Dhamma and is frequently mentioned and emphasized. Dhamma is also described as a proper courtesy to weaker sections of society, obedience to parents, generosity towards friends, acquaintances and relatives, as well as to the monks, and abstaining from killing living beings. Another important aspect of Dhamma was the inculcation of mutual respect and concord among people belonging to different religions and communities. Ashoka's goals and activities correspond in many ways to the image of the ideal king, the Chakravarti Dhammiko Dhammaraja, the righteous universal ruler. This belongs to the Buddhist tradition again. This king, the Dharmaraja, establishes his control over all corners of his kingdom through righteousness, not through violence or force. In our times, we have to learn from the precepts of Buddhism and that Lord Buddha gave us for our own nirvana or salvation, both individually and collectively as humanity. On several occasions, including at the last ASEAN summit in Jakarta in September 2023, Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, has clearly stated, and I quote, "Today the whole world is talking about the 21st century being Asia's century. Everyone believes that 21st century belongs to Asia. They say that this century is going to be an Asian century. But I am clear that without embracing the path and ideals shown by Gautama Buddha, this century cannot be an Asian century. I see Lord Buddha doing to our collective spiritual well-being what global trade did to our collective economic well-being and the digital internet did to our collective intellectual well-being." Prime Minister Modi goes on to say, and I quote again, "I see Lord Buddha in the 21st century across national borders, across faith systems, across political ideologies, playing the role of a bridge to promote understanding, to counsel patience, and to enlighten us with tolerance and empathy," unquote. Let me conclude by quoting Buddha's last advice to his disciples before his Mahaparinirvan. And I quote, he was addressing Ananda, his disciple, and he says, "Therefore, Ananda, be ye lamp unto yourselves, be ye a refuge unto yourselves. Betake yourselves to no external refuge. Hold fast to the truth as a lamp. Hold fast to the truth as a refuge. Look not for a refuge in anyone besides yourself." Then the Lord went on to say that those who do so, it is they who shall reach the very topmost height. This last sermon of Lord Buddha should be our guiding principle as individuals as we move ahead to attain Dhamma Vijaya and establish the century of Dhamma. I once again congratulate Dr. Supachai for his devotion to the Dhamma, and I am confident that this conference in Ubon Ratchathani will contribute towards the attainment of this noble objective. Thank you very much, and Khap Kun Khap.